That's what you guys would really like, wouldn't you? Yeah, exactly.
Mike, go ahead.
Just with how you've organized the coaching staff for the bowl game, Coach Fuente said you had Barber and Pearson, and he said it left it up to you. How have you kind of gone about doing that? Because the new coaches aren't going to be
Yeah,
coaching.
right now Zach Sparber's working with the D line, who I trust and has done a great job. I mean, he's really good young football coach, very energetic, very attention to detail oriented guy. We have Pearson Prelo working with the corners, who I trust immensely. Obviously, Justin's working with the safeties, and myself working still with the linebackers. Really, we'll have Jack, for in the box and things of that nature. We'll probably move Pearson up. He's been on the field. We'll put him up in the box, kind of replacing Brian Mitchell there. It'll be Pearson, Jack, Tyler, who I love and trust. It'll be Matt Cardulis, who's been up there and kind of been those will be my spotters and my talk-to guys, and it'll be myself, Zach, and then Justin Hamilton on the field. And that's kind of how we've done it. And really, we've taken Coach Clays and Daryl Tapp. They have really been more in evaluation mode more than anything. That's what I told them, and they're sitting in our meetings, which I really like some of their input and feedback and that type of thing. And the one thing that I'm taking from that is they're great hires. Obviously Daryl knows the expectations and the traditions here. Coach Clay is an outstanding coach in his own right and is going to be a great asset to Justin Hamilton. He's been a coordinator for a long time, been a head football coach at a Power 5 school. I just like his mindset. He's been in our scheme, a very similar scheme over the years. So I think the way we've got it set up is very good, and it's the way it's set up for down the road. I know they got a couple more hires, but it's going in the right direction to surround Justin with the people he needs to, go be as good as we can be on defense.
When you look at Kentucky first start up with the quarterback and his athleticism and his size, what's challenging about him?
Well, number one is just a great athlete, just what you said. Great speed, with the ball in his hand, extremely dynamic. I mean, he was their leading receiver. If you look at the stats, he's their leading receiver, leading kick returner, punt returner, and their quarterback and leading rusher. You know what I mean? It's kind of, how can that guy, how many guys are there out there? But just a dynamic athlete. And, he's first team All-American utility. He won a national award recognized for that. Just really special. Has breakaway speed, has great vision, great strength, has the ability to put his foot in the ground and get north-south, has the ability to break tackles. And they're setting it up for him. I say this: they've got three outstanding tailbacks, and they're roughly averaging close to 160 yards a game just from that spot alone with those three guys. And then you throw the quarterback in the mix. They're running it since he's been in there. They're averaging a little over 300 yards a game run the football, but they're getting extra hats. Like we're always trying to get that extra free hitter, that alley player. They're always trying to find a way they can manipulate that guy through, blocking him or gaining an extra hat or stressing those areas. And that's really kind of the challenge for us. Is trying to figure those things out. I've been impressed by their physicality up front. They'll be maybe one of the bigger offensive lines we've seen all year. Kind of remind me of maybe of a BC or somebody like that we have played. Big, physical, strong, move their feet well, athletic, handle movement well. I mean, they're just and they're doing what their strengths are, which is their running game with with the running back and the quarterbacks now. And then, their physicality up front. And it's going to be a tremendous challenge. We're going to it reminds me a little bit of Virginia and Georgia Tech combined. You've got, he has Perkins' ability, but he also has the Graham kid's speed and, explosiveness. So it's he's going to be a a problem for us, But and I've told our kids we got to get ready for a 60-minute middle drill, But then the same token, we can't be undisciplined on the back end because they've only averaged a little over 7 throws a game maybe since he's been in there, but a lot of them are deep shots and that type of thing. And obviously, if we can stop the run and put the ball in his hands that way, that's got to be one of our our goals as far as the defense is, control their run game if we can do that. So.
How pleased were you when Justin was officially promoted to be your successor? And do you throw a little bit more on him in the lead up to this bowl game? Considering he's gonna
not
be taking
really.
over?
I'm excited. Number one, I'm say not really as far as throwing more at him. I couldn't be happier as a guy that's we built a tradition here defensively to hire someone who understands the tradition, who understands the expectations, and he'll put his own twist and things of that. But the foundation is laid for him. I know when Coach Fuente and I talked about this, right after I made the announcement, we threw out some names, and it's early. Obviously, it's early in the season, but he told me to keep my eyes on some things and just recommend some people if there's if I do. And we were in spring or fall camp rather, and I remember just going down. I went down and knocked on Coach Fuente's door and said, "Hey, look, you think about when you felt like you were ready to become a coordinator." And I kind of look back at myself and feel like when I was ready for that and had that opportunity, I said, we don't have to look very far. The guy is right underneath our nose, and it was a great opportunity for Coach Fuente this season to evaluate him and see what he's all about. And I just had this feeling that he was the right guy, just all the way around from a football IQ. Obviously, he's well respected of the players, but great teacher, great communicator. He has, he's the total package. And I've been around some guys that could maybe deserve it too that played here before. Particularly a guy like Torian Gray. A lot of people threw his name out. I think there are a lot of similarities in this guy. He's been a coordinator before, but I just see a guy that can really do a great job communicating to the kids on top of being a really good football coach. And then, he's a guy as a player here. He was a team first guy. He played so many positions for us and is a team first guy. And, I think that's a tremendous asset because he played multiple positions in this game day and age. Getting your best athletes on the field, it's not always in maybe the position you recruited him as. And, having that own experience of himself. He's got a wealth of experience in a lot of different ways. I think that's going to be an asset, to this program as it moves forward.
Coach Foster, how you doing?
I'm good.
Awesome. I know you guys are having a few days off in between, but I know this is kind of your last go-around, but talk a little bit about is it more exciting that you're heading to this bowl, or is it kind of bittersweet that this is kind of like –
Well, thank you. It's a little bit of both. I'm excited. It's a great bowl for us. We were probably a play or two away from, having really a dynamic year, and I'm really proud of our guys. But I'm excited for the bowl game. Excited to have one more opportunity with these guys, with the staff, with this group of players. It is bittersweet, though. Tomorrow's my last practice at Virginia Tech. It's kind of all starting to kind of come to a head right now. And tomorrow will be my last, kind of official practice, at Tech's, on the practice field and with my gear on and all that stuff. And then, we've gone so much this year of going to the next game, and we got ourselves in the hunt for the Coastal, and you're really kind of focused on the next game at hand, the next play during the game, within the game, and really haven't had a lot of time to really just sit back. I know it'll probably hit me hard after the game, or maybe in another week or two. When there's going to be a void there when I'm supposed to come back to a staff meeting and get ready for to go on on the road recruiting, which I really like it recruiting, but it's going to be interesting when I leave the office, if I'm in the office, and but to go home and eat dinner and not have to worry about coming back and working for 3 or 4 more hours. It's going to be kind of nice, I think. But I'm excited for these guys. We've got a tremendous opponent. An up-and-coming program. Coach Stoops and his staff has done a tremendous job over there. We're an up-and-coming program, I think, and even though we've gotten to a point, we kind of leveled off, and now we're taking that. I like the direction that we are going. It's in great hands and going to be as good as hands as it's been in, and the direction with the kids, and so that's the part that makes it tough because there's some really some great kids there, and but we're going to enjoy it. We're going to have a great week of practice, and I'm going to enjoy every moment. That's the one thing I catch myself doing as much as anything, hugging these guys, and one last time, because it's about the relationships you build, and particularly on defense. I'm close to these guys, and particularly in my room, in the linebacker room. We've invested a lot of time with each other, and that's going to be the part that's would be the saddest and the most emotional when it's all said and done, is saying goodbye. Even though I'm still going to be around, it's still being a little different role. And that's the hard part.
Hey, Bud, you've often said experience is the best teacher, right? I mean, and when you were talking earlier about when you felt like you were ready to become a coordinator, and we know Jay Ham's done that at UVA Wiles, but it's a big step up here. What are there some things that you kind of didn't know until you actually got into the role that that he's going to encounter? I mean, I don't know if the management aspect is the hardest part to get accustomed to, or if it's the scheming, or what.
I think it'll be a little bit of everything. Just the volume that that job entails a little bit, and just what you were talking about. And he's already approached me with a couple things that he'd like to sit down and talk. And part of it's just getting started. Where do you start? And I think trying to help him build an agenda, that he needs to kind of put in place to, this is your starting point. What do you want to discuss first? What are your expectations amongst the staff? That type of thing. Just getting his foot in the door that way, and I think from a football standpoint, it'll just roll, and obviously you learn a variety of things during the course of a game or a season or a career that maybe you would, through experience, you'll do things differently than maybe you did early. And sometimes those are hard to teach somebody as much as they are, you learn them on the go or on the job training, so to speak. And but because he's been a coordinator, like you said, it's all relative, but it'll be a different step up. But being at VMI, I think, gives him a great tool of how to evaluate guys. You know what I mean? That's I think anybody that's coached at the academies of some sort, they'll all come away with that, because I think that's something that the evaluation of talent and getting the right people into your program are extremely important. And that's no different than this place. You got to get the people that want to be Virginia Tech Hokies and want to develop and want to grow, even though this is the era of the portal. It's new and all that. But that's still a part of this program. It's a developmental program, and identifying those guys. I think that's where he'll have a big time asset. But those other parts, I think that'll come. And I think just getting started. That's always, I think, the biggest thing is getting that foot in the door, and then he'll run with it. But, of all the things I said earlier, he has those things, and he's an extremely sharp guy and extremely organized. And, I think just I don't think he'll be overwhelmed. I think he'll be in a good place, and I'm excited to see him get started, and then his growth and development as a coordinator here, because I think a lot of people will be really excited about him as he continues to move forward. I know I will. I'm really proud of him, of seeing his growth and development, and but I'm really excited for him because of what kind of football coach he is and how he handles the kids, and that's a big part of it.
Coach, forget my voice, pardon me. when Coach Fuente was in here, he had mentioned, this win in the bowl would not just be for this year's team, but be for next year's as well, give them a springboard. And in the next season, I know you're not going to be on the sidelines for them next season, but how do you see your role in setting them up, to give them one last lesson to prepare them for next season? What's that area you'd really love to see them improve, set them up for success next year?
I mean, the thing that we've really talked about is finishing. This is how it has been over the years. I mean, obviously, we finished 8-4 in our regular season, and that's a good year by a lot of standards. We were, a play away or a couple plays away from having a great year, really. And there's a fine line in winning and losing at this level, and that's where I'm proud of the kids is that they gained some self-confidence for a variety of reasons, but all of a sudden you saw that and you saw our play improve, and then you saw cohesiveness and that chemistry develop and get closer and all those things, what it takes to be successful. And we need to finish for the right reasons for the seniors, but also, we've always used this game in the past and what we are now is this is a statement about the future too. I mean, it's obviously sending people off the right way, your seniors particularly, and then it's it's about let's don't wait till middle of January when we come back for reporting day. Let's start now, and that's really kind of been our attention to detail still been on continuing to improve and grow and build on what we've done so far this year. But again, to take another step, we don't need to wait till next semester. We need to go do it now. And that's really kind of been our message and our practice habits. And really, we haven't gone about an hour and a half practices, hour and 40-minute practices, but we've won them sharp and with great energy, and they've done that. And those are indicators of their intentions, which I'm excited about. So.
One more. Charlie's been your boy for a lot of years, and I just was curious how his departure and maybe the circumstances therein set with you. And this is a tough question, I'm sure, because you love Jay Ham, you love Charlie, but was Charlie a guy that ever crossed your mind to recommend for your job?
Yeah, it was. I mean, and Charlie and I have talked. At one time, I know when I might have been a coach in waiting, the head coach in waiting. I talked to Charlie about that. I think Charlie would have felt more comfortable with me being around. And he's even said he probably wished he would have probably knew a little bit more on the back end, and paid attention a little bit more there. And then as time moved on, I don't know if Charlie was really wanted that role. You know what I mean? Kind of was good at what he was doing. He was good in recruiting, and all of a sudden this position's going to involve a lot more time and attention to detail and some other things. And but I was disappointed, and I told Coach when he called and we talked, and I was disappointed. Coach knows how I feel about Charlie. Charlie knows how I feel about him. I was involved in his recruiting. We go way, way back, and I love him like a brother. And but I will say this about Charlie Wiles. I don't know if he's ever had a bad day in his life. As you guys have gotten to know him, I know he was extremely disappointed and hurt. I was hoping he would stay and coach this game because he deserves to go out the right way, just like I did. I mean, he's been as big a part of this growth and development as I have been, and I feel that way. But he's gonna land on his feet, and he's, like I said, he was disappointed, but he and I'll tell y'all, I talked to the defensive staff. I talked to the defensive kids. We're kind of dedicating this game to him in our room. He came by the other day and we gave him the lunch pail. Now we're going to carry it still in this game, but afterwards we're going to give it to him, and that'll be number 2 that I've given away. And he was just awesome in that room, and obviously he told the kids, hey, in this game and this level, things happen, and he was disappointed and hurt, but he's not a hater. The biggest thing that he took away from it, obviously, is we as coaches, you mentor a lot of people and you give a lot of yourself, to young people for their betterment. But, Charlie came away and said, I'm a rich person because of what you guys have touched me. And pretty cool. And, how he handled this whole thing is with the utmost class. And I wouldn't expect him any other way. And that's who he is. But he is one of the best, if not one of the best D-line coaches in the country. And he'll have an opportunity if this is what he decides to do. And I know he's got some outside, things too. He's a guy that loves life and has made some investments around the community. And so we'll see what he does. But whoever gets him is getting a big-time football coach and a guy that still has a lot of energy and a lot of enthusiasm and has a great mindset, for front play and blitz packages and those type of things. But I'm sorry that he's not going to coach with us this last game. But like I said, I am so proud of my association with him and our friendship. And like I said, he's family to me, and will always be that way. Regardless of what happens. Where if he goes elsewhere or stays around here, we'll always be family.
Thank you, Coach.